most times I think they always like to make their own stuff.
Yeah. Now here's a story to this gate. My brother and myself bought a beautiful gate here. Not this one before, with stainless steel letters up there. And one came by here with a backhoe and tore it down. So this is brand new. This just came in this summer.
Oh, wow.
So we'll go in there. This came in this summer. This is brand new. In fact, this was just dedicated 3 weeks ago, I think, is when they had the dedication out here for this.
Okay. So now whose gravesite is this that we're walking over to?
We're walking. That's my dad and ma.
Okay.
That's the Welders.
Paul Welder, born in 1875 and died in 1948.
Mm-hmm.
And then Catherine from 1878 to 1966.
See, mother was 88 years old.
Wow. Can you describe your mother?
My mother was, her maiden name was Weigel, and she was she was really pretty heavy set, and she was real active in. She taught us many German songs. I think I knew 20 German songs that she taught us, and she did a lot of knitting, and she raised all those children. But actually, the older sisters raised us. They gave us baths and they raised us. Mother just breastfed us, and that was it. And the younger ones especially, they were really raised by the younger, because the older sisters, and when they were 12 years old, they took care of us. It's not like it's now that they went to the swimming pool.
Do you remember any of the lyrics to the German songs that you could even just say it for us?
I can sing 20 of them.
Would you pick one and sing it for us? Or you can just say the lyrics, whichever you prefer.
No, I think I can sing it, but it may not be so pleasant out here in this open. Okay, now this is one about somebody that had a sweetheart, and he went to the army, and when he came back, he was married to somebody else, and then he put his sword into her breast, and he killed her. So this is the song going to be about.
Okay.
So it's Die Rosen, die blühen im Mai, ja Mai, Soldate marschieren ins Feld, Soldate marschieren ins Feld, als sie es ein Stück weit ins Feldenein kam, ja Feldenein kam, feins liebste stand's unter der Tier, feins liebste stand's unter der Tier. Und du, mein Herz, liebste Herz, feinste, ja feinste, von Herzen gefällest du's mir, von Herzen gefällest du's mir, und ich brauch dir's ja nicht zu gefällen, ja fällen, denn ich habe schon längstes ein Mann, denn ich habe schon längstes ein Mann, ein schöner, ein hübscher, ein reicher, ja reicher, der mich es ernähren kann, der mich es ernähren kann. Was zog aus einer Scheide, ja Scheide, ein Messer war scharf gespitzt, ein Messer war scharf gespitzt, steckt es feins Liebste ins Herze, ja Herze, das rote Blut geger im Spritz, das rote Blut geger im Spritz. Zog das Messer gleich wieder zurück, ja wieder zurück, von Blute war's Messer so rot, von Blute war's Messer so rot. Sie schreit es, ja Christus im Himmel, ja Himmel, wie bitter ist mir es der Tod, wie bitter ist mir es der Tod. So ist der Tod so bitter, ja bitter, so komm ich und lag mir's dein Not, so komm ich und lag mir's dein Not.
That was great, thank you. That was fabulous.
See, I'm with the German singers. We sing
Oh,
every week.
do
We,
you?
we go to the nursing homes and different places. We just sang in Bismarck just 2 weeks ago. And Wednesday we're going to sing in Strasbourg, the nursing home. We sing down every month, the third Tuesday of the month. But Wednesday we got to sing since Wednesday because Tuesday they got something else going.
What time are you singing that?
2:00, but I'm not going down
Oh.
because I'm going to get ready to go on my trip. But I'm with him all the time.
That's neat.
Yeah.
That's very interesting. Thank you. That's a great song, though.
Well, if you know what it's all about, it was about this guy that had this boyfriend and then the girlfriend, and when he came back, she was married to somebody else. Then he stuck the sword into her heart, and she bled to death, and of course, and she told him, she said, I don't need you, I'm married to a rich one that can support me. Then he killed her.
Oh, wow.
It was a mean one.
Yeah, it is kind of a mean song, but that's what you're the two people
Well,
I think that
do
sings,
you
of course.
do you understand anything in German at all?
My dad never taught me anything.
Not one word.
No, I yelled at him for it.
Oh, now I'll tell you what, my children can all speak the German language.
That's great.
And especially the youngest one, he is the best. He lives in Bismarck and he speaks the best.
Yeah,
and the oldest one lives in Florida. When he calls me, he starts talking German. He wants the only one he can talk to.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No, my dad has a friend that he talks to in German. That's about it. So he can still speak it and still understand it.
Well, sure he can.
Yeah. So.
Well, this is, and then of course,
It's
my father-in-law and mother-in-law, they're right here. They're right here. This is the father-in-law and the mother-in-law. This is my sister. And this is my nephew.
So these are your in-laws here, Meg?
That's my father-in-law and mother-in-law, yeah, and that's my sister. She passed away in 1947. She had cancer. She had a big family.
Were you close to your sister?
Pardon?
Were you close to this sister?
Well, see, she already got married when I was only about 12 years old or 11 years old. I was only 10 years old when she got married.
So long since
yeah, I remember her real well, but she got married. I remember the day when they got married, but that's about it.
Did she visit often?
No, they moved to Glen Cross, South Dakota, which is 27 miles west of Mobridge, and they didn't come too often. And then they moved to McIntosh. They had a store over there, and that's where she passed away. And she didn't come to our place. But I was over there. I worked in the store in 24 and in 28, and then in 32 a little bit. And of course, my brothers had 2 farms over there, so I was over there a lot to help to build those farms. And I was with Caroline and Conrad a lot.
What about your in-laws? What were they like?
My father-in-law wanted fun. He was really a jolly guy. And the mother-in-law was kind of sober-like, but look, when she passed away.
Early.
Yeah. And but the father-in-law, and then he got remarried again, and then one day he told me, he said, if I'd have to get remarried again, I wouldn't do it. Sie schaut nicht Motley, it's not Magdalena, you know. He said, Helen is a good woman, but it's not Magdalena. So, and I'm single for 21 years already. I'm a widower for 21 years already.
So your wife died, you said, in 84, 85?
84, yeah. Yeah.
Wow. So you guys were married how many years?
40 years, 11 months, and 2 days.
How many children did you have?
4 of them. 3 boys and a girl.
Are they still close by?
The boy is in Florida, and one of the sons lives in the Chicago area, and the daughter lives in Hastings, Minnesota. One son lives in Bismarck.
Okay.
And right now he's in Oregon. Wait a minute, today he's still in Oregon. Tomorrow they'll come back. And then in 2 weeks from now or something like that, he's going to go to Denver to school. He's in the insurance business. Yeah. So this is but there's a lot of my relatives in here. Oh, yeah. Yeah, so it's my relatives in here. There's a nephew in here that died, and then there's sister-in-law yet, and this is my brother-in-law and his wife, Mary and George. George was born in 10 and died in 65, and Mary died in 99. That's the brother-in-law and his wife.
Oh, okay.
And this would be, I would be an uncle to her.
Marcella?
She died in infant, Aberley.
Marcella Maberly?
Mm-hmm.
She would have been, you said you were...
Yeah, I about 9 months old, I think, or something. Born in
okay.
33 and died in 34.
Okay.
Or maybe 8 months old. She was real young, a real small girl yet. Yeah. There's more in here that I'm related to, but can't find them all.
There are a lot in here.
Yeah. You know how many dead people are in here? They're all dead.
What were funerals like?
Pardon?
What were funerals like when you were a child?
What was it when I was a child?
Yeah, what were the funeral ceremonies like?
I'll tell you, there was a wake all night long. Somebody sat by that coffin all night long, and then we prayed many rosaries and stuff, and you didn't know there was somebody there and they were in the house, and they brought them to the house, and then of course maybe now like some of those were hauled out here with wagons, because there was no cars when they came out here. And then even later when there was already cars, they still brought them with buggies, or wagons, because that's the only way they brought them. And they'd bring them to the house, and they'd be there, and there would be about 2 candles burning, and by the coffin, and there was one rosary after the other.
How did the gravesite get dug?
You went out here, you dug it with your shovel and a pick, and you dug them, and that was it.
The family did, or?
Oh, usually somebody, a cousin or something, or yeah.
Okay.
Now, like I know that the janitor in Linton, we talked about it a lot. He dug a lot of graves, said he got $2 a dig a grave, Dug by hand, every shovelful.
How were the coffins made? Or who would
Well,
make coffins?
a lot of them were made, locally by there was a guy in Hague that made a lot of coffins, and there was one in Eureka, and the Straubs in Eureka then finally came in there. They were undertakers, but there was a lot of them. They were just nailed together. They were just boxes.
Somebody would make it.
Yeah, just wood. Went to the lumber yard and bought some wood and just nailed them together, and then when they put on the top, they put them down there, and they were just wood, and in a few years they were rotted out. And I know there was one grave here where the bat just brought out some bones. It wasn't over there by Knowles.
Okay.
Yeah.
Were funerals discussed a lot? When somebody would die, did the family discuss what happened?
Well, it was different. It was not like nowadays. If there was somebody died in a relation like a brother-in-law or something, you didn't dare go to a dance for a year maybe, or 8 months for sure. You was mourning. It was different.
Okay.
They didn't go to the party the same night they had a funeral, or like what they do now. Or I was to a funeral here not so long ago, and really, it was like nothing happened. You didn't see a tear. And my God, years ago they cried that you heard them from the other side of town. They just screamed sometimes, and that was useless though. That didn't help.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the way it was. It was different.
That was the way they dealt with it.
Yeah, that's the way they dealt with it.
Interesting.
But it's now and then. That's the big change.
Mm-hmm.
Now, those here, this here is a locher, see?
Yeah, but I don't think they're close.
That's Fring. Now, see, he would be about a second cousin to your grandpa.
Yeah. Not a cousin or a...
No, he's not a cousin.
Yeah.
He'd be a
he would be a second cousin though, not a.
No, he's not a cousin to your dad.
No, so he'd be like a
To
fourth
Grandpa.
cousin to me. Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes, I don't know. It's been about 15 years since we had a family reunion.
Oh.
So I haven't seen really any relatives since I think I was.
But he was raised out there where we turned south. You know, when we went out there, he was raised 2 miles north.
Okay.
And then his farm was 2 miles east from where we turned.
Okay.
So, yeah. He was a very jolly guy, and they farmed. From my farm, they farmed 7 miles north. That's where my wife was born, and I knew her when she was real small. Then I forgot about her until finally I had worked the fields. Then finally I came back, and well, then we ran around together for about 2 years before we got married. But I wouldn't have gotten married yet. But Ma said, we're going to move to town and you and Mike have to bachelor. We bachelored one night and I got married. So it didn't take long. I had Phyllis with me. And we were married 9 months and 10 days and we had a boy.
Oh, wow. Wow.
And then 4 years later we had a girl. We wanted a girl. We had a boy on my birthday.
You sure know how to plan it.
And then 4 years later, we wanted a girl, and on the wife's birthday, and the wife's birthday was April the 2nd, and the 4th, the baby came, it was a boy, and I said, if we didn't know what the heck we're doing, let's quit, and that was it. There was no more. So that was the story on our family.
You sure know how to plan it. There's something to be said for that. There's a lot of people nowadays that need to work on their plan.
Yeah, well, see how, well, are you married?
No.
No?
Nope.
No? Well,
Completely single. I'm
that's
doing
all.
all my school stuff.
That's all right. You still have time.
I'm not that old.
You're just a young girl yet.
Oh yeah, I'm not that old. I got a lot of years left. I'm not too worried.
Yeah, Dad was a good carpenter and Ma was a good cook. And she spent a lot of time with the children. She taught us a lot of songs, and she taught us she read to us in the Bible a lot, and during Lent, every evening we all kneeled down and prayed the rosary. There was no such a thing as one skipping, the whole family. And when we ate, everybody was there. Not like now that one comes and one goes. We were all there. We said our prayer together, then we sat down and we ate.
You know,
Yeah.
that's the way my family did it.
It was different.
Yeah, it definitely is. Did you guys have assigned seats for sitting?
Pardon?
Did you guys have assigned seats when you would sit down and eat?
We all sat in this, everybody had his place. Everybody.
Was there an order? Was it oldest to youngest making their way around?
No, kind of. I mean, because the girls were older, they kind of helped us, with the, so we were kind of set in, but I remember, I think, I'm not sure, I talked to, but my younger brothers now, and the older ones, they didn't know as much about the family as I did, because I was old before I got married, and some of those got married young, so. But we talked about it, and I think, like oatmeal, I think 2 of us ate out of one bowl. I'm not too sure, but I think. Well,
that's a lot of, you need 17 place settings. That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot to have.
It was a pretty big table, and we sat around there, and we all had and great big pieces of bread, and we had a lot of peanut butter, and then we mixed peanut butter with syrup. We had a lot of that, and that was pretty good. And then, of course, a lot of homemade sausage and ham and cured ham and a lot of dumplings and a lot of meal from dough, a lot of dough, a lot of noodle. Now I'm on TV where I make my big pot of noodles.
Are you?
Yeah.
No, I haven't seen that one.
Haven't you seen it?
Mm-mm.
Oh yeah, I'm on there, yeah, where I make my big pot of noodles.
Is that your mother's recipe?
No, well, I mean, I don't know.
Sorta?
Yeah, kind of, yeah. And I got that all together, and I gave him a recipe too, So,
I tell you what, I still gotta find a better Coogan recipe. I can't
a
find
what?
Coogan. I can't find a recipe where I can make it that it turns out. The recipe I have doesn't turn out. It's
Oh,
gross. It's
well,
bad.
I don't know whether I have a kuchen recipe. I've
Oh.
got so many recipes that I don't know. Now,
If I can get his cabinet to work.
there's one priest buried here, Father Future.
Well, is he just the one that's wanted to be buried here? Or?
Well, he was a foreigner, and this is where, well, see, this is where if another priest would die here, he'd come in there. See, it would be reserved for the priests.
Like he'd have to be a priest, I feel.
Yeah, yeah.
Oops. Alright. He's a perfectionist.
And see, now here, this is my brother-in-law and my sister-in-law. That's the wife's sister, Barbara. And here is the other brother-in-law. Those two are sisters. Aberly, that's the other brother-in-law, my brother-in-law, the Aberly.
Okay.
Hmm.
Wow. You
Yeah.
said your wife is not buried here. Your wife's buried in
My
the
wife,
Linton one?
she's in Linton, yeah.
Okay, that's where she wanted to be buried at?
Well, we lived up there, and so yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what are you gonna...
Yeah, just see when she died in April the 2nd in 4,
Sure.
just last year.
Oh, wow. 2 years ago now.
And they lived here in town for many years. Then they had to move to Bismarck because he was on dialysis.
Yeah.
So they moved up there into an apartment, and that's where they both died then. But here's where they are.
Wow.
Die zijn op Zeeland komen. Die zijn op Zeeland. Zeeland is Zeeland. Die zijn op Zeeland begraven worden.
I have no idea.
Zeeland is where they were buried.
Oh.
Yeah.
They chose to come back. Oh, if you spend more time here than away, you might as well get buried here.
Yeah. They were.
That works.
Yeah, this is a brand new cemetery, a brand new tombstone here.
Yeah, it is. You can tell it is a nice one.
Mm-hmm.
You can. Yeah, we were walking around the Strasbourg one yesterday, and you could see. You could
See,
just tell by looking at them what ones were older, which ones are newer.
Well, I've got 2 brothers-in-law in there and a sister in Strasbourg. See, I had 2 brothers-in-law that were cousins to Lawrence Welk, you know, the famous...
Schwab's?
No,
okay.
To Welk, Lawrence Welk, the big orchestra. I got 2 cousins that are buried in Strasbourg, and then my sister, one of them.
Yeah, we were trying to find Lawrence Welk yesterday. We couldn't find Lawrence Welk. We figured he must be in the Strasbourg Cemetery, but he wasn't. Or we didn't see him.
Well, Lawrence isn't there.
He's not? Okay.
No, Lawrence
That's
is...
why we couldn't find him.
No, you couldn't see. Now his brother, Louis, is buried there, but he isn't.
Oh, okay.
Mm-mm. Well, now, I'll ask you this question. What made you go into this kind of a occupation? I mean, how come that you... It's maybe a very good occupation. Maybe it's a good deal.
Well, this is just
But how
a
did
little
you...
summer job thing I'm doing.
Oh, this is your summer job?
I'm working to get my master's in U.S. history.
Oh.
And so the project coordinator is working on her PhD at NDSU.
Oh, so you still go to school then?
Yep. They're doing a lot of interviews this summer. She's going for a month up to Canada. We're here this trip for 7 days. Our next trip we're here for 8 days. Oh. And then we come back in August for 9 days.
Down in this area or all over?
I'll be here again till the end of May, and then we'll be staying in Wishick.
Oh.
So you're saying that you and your brother originally had
yeah,
donated this?
yeah, not this,
this
the
one.
other one before, but it was real nice. It was a real, had stainless steel lettering up there, and it was in this order, gates on the side, and then he went through with the backhoe and tore it down.
Why did they
So,
tear it down?
well, he got caught with the backhoe, and you know how those guys drive, and he tore it over, so they had to take it out, and then they put this one in. This is only 2 weeks, 3 weeks old.
And you were saying something about this altar too. Did you guys help with the altar as well?
My brother, myself bought that.
How long
There
did
was
you buy
one. There was one guy that put in a little money, but not much. Well, I would say this was maybe maybe in the 50s, middle 50s or something like that. That's many years ago already.
Yeah.
The other guy, Schumacher put in a little money, but not much.
Okay.
But we did this.
That's nice.
Yeah, I did a lot for this, for the churches. In fact, I bought the new doors for our church in Linton, and I bought all the lock sets, and I'm very much involved in the cemetery. I put a lot of money in there all the time. Now we repainted it and redone it, and now I put a lot of money in that. But that comes back.
Mm-hmm.
It isn't like if you can give them the money, then go back and find it at home,
Yeah.
7 way out. But it pays for itself. I'm not complaining. Okay, now this is we were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and was one of the boys missing? Yeah, well, Chores not here no more. See, so there's my brothers and sisters here, and should have given their married names to women.
You could give me the married name since I know
Okay,
their
now-
maiden name.
This was the youngest one of the family, and she was married to a Gabriel, and he passed away.
What's her name?
Rose, that's Rose.
Okay.
And then this is Annie, and she lives in Lodi, California, and she was married to a Schatz. And this is Katie here, and she was married to a matron. She was in Phoenix, Arizona. And then here is Mary, and she was married to a Welk, a cousin of Lawrence Welk's, and she lived in Strasbourg.
So her last name was Welk as well?
Pardon?
Her last name was Welk?
Yeah, she was a
Okay.
Welk, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And what about the boys in the back
And then
row?
the boys, okay, now let's see now. This is Frank, he just died. He was here with us until just 2 weeks ago is when he was buried. And this is Mike, he's been gone for a long time. Pete is the one that lives in Zealand yet, he still is the only brother I got yet. And then this is John, and he's gone, he's buried in Hawaii. They cremated him and put him in the ocean where he was when they bombed Pearl Harbor. He was there, and their ship, it crawled out to sea, and they lost 300 people on the ship, but he was saved. So he's buried there now. He was cremated and taken over there and put him in there. That's where he wanted. And then, of course, this here is Paul, and he lives in Linton. And then here is Tony, and he lived in Mobridge, South Dakota, and is gone for a long time. Ben also was in Mobridge. He's gone for a long time. Then a brother, Joe, lived in Blue Earth, Minnesota. He's not on the picture. He's gone. So that's what's left from the. And now we're 4 left out of the whole bunch.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oops.
Okay, now this here was taken.
Okay.
This picture was taken in June, and then in October the wife passed away. So this was the last one we had.
That was June in 1984.
And That's the last one, and it's a good one.
And she was the one that finally got you after 32 years.
Yeah, 30. And then here's one. This is where we were. One of the sons got married, and we were all dressed up, and they took a picture of us, which is something to remember by, but it's gone.
Do you remember about when that picture was taken?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay.
Let's see whether I have something. No, nothing in the bag. Right. Now here's where I'm standing on my new house down there, upstairs, and I'm dressed in my 4th degree uniform.
And how long have you been a Knights of Columbus?
A Knights of Columbus, I'm the oldest and the longest. I'm a Knight for 61 years already. And the 4th degree, I'm only a Knight for 16 years.
Okay,
great. Now this is my parents. That's my mom and my dad. And that was taken out on the farm yet, so it's many years old.
And what were your parents' names again?
My dad's name was Paul, and my mother's name was Katharina. And here's where I'm sporting off with my new car, a 41 Chevrolet in 1940. And this is where I am. I was working for the State Highway Department then. I lived in Ashley, but this was taken out in the farm.
And how many cars have you had so far?
I've had 34 new cars. Bought 34 new. Well, here's here's one where I'm dressed up, ready to go someplace, and it was out on the house on the farm, up on the porch, outside, all ready to go someplace.
And do you know about how old you were there?
Yeah, I could just about tell you. I was about, let's see, I was 32. I was about 29 years old when this was taken.
Great. Do you remember where you were going? Or just going out? You're on a date?
I don't know about that. I don't know about that. Well, here was just a summer day where I was dressed ready to go someplace, and somebody took a picture of me.
And which car is that?
That's my Chevrolet, my 1941 Chevrolet that I bought new.
Okay.
Well, let's see now. We want to stay kind of with the... Oh, here. Ooh. 1936.
That's again up on the porch of the farm?
Yeah, it's on the porch on the farm. That was one.
What's the story behind this picture?
Well, I got ready to go out on a date, and of course I got all dressed up, and it was taken the evening before the sun went down, so...
Not on a date with your wife, though. This is prior to your wife?
Yeah, that was prior to my wife. And of course here I was just getting ready to go someplace. That was in 1937, and somebody took a picture of me wearing boots and breeches. That was the style then.
Now that can't be your 41 Chevy now. What car is this one?
That's my 41 Chevrolet.
Even in 1937?
No, that was the Model A. That was my Model A, yeah, that's the Model A, Model A.
Okay.
That is the Model A.
Nice.
Yeah.
Which did you like better, the Model A or the 41?
The 41. Now, here is where we are, where we took our cream to Greenway. And it was neighbor myself, and here's where we had the cream for the week. And that was in 1954. We had a lot of snow that year.
And which side are you on?
I'm over here.
You're on the left side, okay.
Mm-hmm. I have another one. 1954, where we were in town, we took our cream in, and we had a lot of snow in 54. The neighbor, myself, and it again I'm on here. And this is when I picked apples in Chelan area in Washington, this is up in Chelan, around Chelan Lake, and I picked 120 boxes for one man. 154 boxes for one man, excuse me. And that was more than 3 carloads. And I got 5 cents a box. And that was real good money.
How do you spell the name of the city that you were at?
The city? Chelan. Chelan Lake, up in the north, Chelan Lake. And this was the 1966 snowstorm. That was the snowbank between the house and the barn, the windmill.
And that's the barn, and all you can see left of that barn is the...
That's the barn.
The top.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then here, of course, here's where I'm sitting, where they're taking a picture. This is already on TV.
What is this one? It was just on TV?
Mm-hmm. That's on Channel 3 already, yeah.
When was this picture taken?
Oh,
03.
50. When was it taken?
May 3rd of 03.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and then here's where I'm sitting out in the pumpkin patch. That's 18 miles east of Linton. And it's the Welder's pumpkin patch. They have a pumpkin deal every year.
The Welders pumpkin?
The Welders, yeah. Mm-hmm.
It was just a few years ago you're helping out?
Yeah, that was 2 years ago. And, mm-hmm. Well, here is where I'm driving a tractor in Montana where we had those bead contracts, and this is the tractor we used out there. And then there's a binder back here where we bindered and all kinds of farm work.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm sure you want to see this one here. 1942. Ah, look at that.
And what is this one?
Hey.
Which car is this?
That's my 41 Chevrolet. Look at that. That's the first new car I bought.
This is the one for being in Ashley, picking up the girls.
Yeah. And then, of course, here is I'm on TV here in Channel 3 where I'm making my baking powder noodles.
Baking powder?
Baking powder noodles.
Was it just with baking powder?
Well, you just have flour and baking powder and something to hold them together, like I use a little water and an egg, and then, but it's the pan that does the work. You got to have a good pan to make those nice noodles.
And what would be the good pan? Cast iron pan?
It's Teflon, yeah. And
interesting. And where did you
and
learn
I
this
am
recipe?
on Channel 3, pardon?
Where did you learn the recipe for it?
Yeah, just together. I mean, I just watched Mother make it maybe years ago. See, I used to help in the kitchen quite a bit because the girls were older, they were married, and then I kind of got in there to where the sisters were younger, and I helped in the kitchen quite a bit.
Okay.
When I had that bead contract in Montana, I cooked for 8, 9 guys all the time, 7 guys, and they gained weight.
the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah. Now here, you want to go through them?
Sure.
Okay.
You know, when you were
Now
adjusting.
here's two trailers scattered. That's when I was adjusting, and that was in the 60s. I don't know just exactly what year. Should have put the dates on, but I didn't.
This was from a tornado that did
Yeah,
the
that
damage?
was where a tornado went to, and there's two trailer houses scattered. This is what's left, the remains. And those are the grain bins that are down by Hosmer, South Dakota, that the winds put together. I made those adjustments.
And it's just wind.
This is just wind damage.
Wow. That's some wind damage. Whoops.
Just push them together.
Did you see a lot of grain bins like this pushed together? A lot of wind damage
Yeah, there was quite a few of them. Yeah.
This was common? Okay.
That was not an uncommon thing.
Wow.
You saw that a lot. Those grain bins were some of them just took and scattered all over. And then, of course, here is in Menno, South Dakota. Here's a tree with 13 cows that lightning hit and 3 calves right under this tree.
And killed them all.
Killed them all. And of course they were insured.
They were?
Oh yes,
That's a
I
good
made
thing.
those adjustments, yeah. Yeah, they cost.
I suppose that is a lot of money right there.
Oh, that cost money. Those days, you know. And here's where the tornado pushed a baler and a tractor and a duck-foot duck, everything together in one pile. Tornado did that.
A baler, a tractor.
And a duck-foot. Well, that's one of those diggers.
Oh, okay.
It stands up here. Yeah, this is what happened there.
Okay.
And then there's 7 sheep that lightning hit and killed them in one place.
And now this was a common thing to see? A bunch of
Yeah,
animals
oh
killed
sure.
from lightning like
Yes. Yeah, oh yeah, that was common. But see, there was many that weren't insured, but they were insured. They had to make the adjustment there.
Okay.
And then here is 4 cows, and that's south of Eureka, and they were killed. And I was there half an hour, 45 minutes after they were killed. I was there to make the adjustment. That's a good adjuster.
That's pretty quick.
Yeah.
That's good timing.
Well, I got back to town. They said, you got to go back out there again. His cows got killed.
Wow. Okay.
And then here's 3 calves, yearlings, that were killed by lightning.
I guess it was a common thing.
And then there's 2 more that were killed by lightning, 2 cows. And then there's 2 more under a tree. A tree is a very attractive place for cows to go when the storm comes, but they're very dangerous. That's where the lightning hits.
Okay.
And then that's how high the snowbank was to our yard in 1900. And what have I got here? 78. In 78, yeah, we had that big snow to the yard, and I opened up so we'd go from the granaries to the house. And we had a big snowbank in there.
And you're just on a tractor trying to get through?
That was my tractor with a loader on there. And then here's another trailer. Well, we'll go to this one here. Here's 1 trailer scattered all together and 1 damaged real bad, and that was an adjustment. That was down by the Hosmer area, Hosmer, South Dakota.
And that was done by wind or a tornado?
Wind damage.
Is that still common today to see this kind of wind damage?
Oh yeah, but I'm not out there in the field no more.
Would you have seen wind damage like this or animals killed like this when you were a child?
Oh, well, we didn't know about it. See, we didn't get no place. Maybe that was that. Now, here's a trailer that was just tipped over on the site. Can we put those two together because it's the same place, and he's showing the hail here, how big they are, and it was, look at the damage on the buildings.
I need to zoom in on the one guy for his helmet.
Okay, now that's it. That's my pictures.